Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You might be wondering why the smile. Well, you must smile. Smile is medicinal, and then you just have to make yourself happy. I think we reiterated this point last week here, that inwardly you get motivated, because if you have to look at indices and reports and statistics, you might not find the happiness that you're looking for. But then better days ahead. And that's why we come here every day to speak truth to power, so that one day, very soon, you get to look at the statistics, you get to look at the data, but much more importantly, you get to look at your reality, and you will know that things are getting better. Not those kind of developments that I explained, but the one that you can feel even from wherever you are doing your reality check, and that is kind of a nation that we want to have. Femi Ojo is my name, and I bring you good tidings that you cannot refuse, and it is that, thank God, you are alive. Good morning. Good morning, Dan.
Yeah, good morning, Femi.
Yeah, we are back here.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning.
It is.
It feels great to be alive, great to be healthy, because health is wealth, and at least you have the smile on your face, which is very important.
It is.
Like you said, we just have to make ourselves happy.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at everything we are facing, we are going through in Nigeria, if you're not careful, sometimes you might just get overwhelmed. So that's why you just have to, you know, have that positive, you know, mental attitude, just that positive outlook, and believe that definitely it will get better. And we'll keep talking about it until our leaders do the right thing.
Right.
Good morning to you, our distinguished viewers from wherever you're joining us from all over the world. Thank you once again for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you join us on Morning Spring. This is Western Spring Television. Daniel Emeka is my name. Once again, it's always a pleasure to have you. Here on Morning Spring, we talk about, you know, issues, critical matters, matters of national importance. We start with the newspaper review segment, and of course, we dive into conversations with stakeholders. And if it truly matters, you get to hear it from us right here. And we always speak truth to power. We say it as it is. And that's exactly what we will be doing today as well, just like we do every other weekday. Once again, thank you for joining us. And when you're talking about speaking truth to power, you know, yesterday we were having a conversation around, you know, INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Nigeria. Right. And of course, we cannot overemphasize the need for electoral reforms in Nigeria. If we are going to have free and fair elections in Nigeria, we can't continue with the way we've been doing things and expect things to change. Like the saying goes, Femi, it's only a madman who would do the same thing over and over again and expect another outcome. So we need electoral reforms in Nigeria if we must get it right. Because if we're still having the executive, you know, making appointments, the president appointing INEC chairman and all those key offices in INEC, then of course elections cannot be said to be totally 100% free and fair. And yes, I was trying to give examples of other countries where it is done differently. Okay, take the US for example, where you have representatives from all the parties in the electoral body, in the election commission. So even if we can do that here in Nigeria, there are different ways to do it. For instance, Femi, the judiciary can be saddled with that responsibility since they are not being elected into the office. If you say the National Assembly, some people say, yeah, members of the National Assembly are still elected officers. But the judiciary can actually, you know, be saddled with that responsibility to make sure they appoint, you know, leaders of the Electoral Commission, just for us to have free and fair elections. Now the current INEC chairman, his tenure will expire next month. He'll be out of office, and they are currently, Mr. President is shopping for a replacement. But again, I'm saying this right here, and I'm saying, you can quote me anywhere, until we have an independent electoral body, we will still be struggling with elections in Nigeria. As long as it is Mr. President who will appoint the man, the chairman, there must be interest for me. Even if you're the one, you can't appoint someone who you think is not your supporter to be the umpire of an election. It's not possible. We are human beings.
But then there is always a place for due process and conscience.
Absolutely.
Actually, well, I understand that everybody must protect his or her interest. Fine, but then that's why there are rules, there are laws, there are due process. There is a due process to be followed. Make it go through. Because the process, I'm not sure, it's based on Mr. President identifying a particular prospect or talent or individual and say, come and be the INEC chairman, like unilaterally.
No, we know the process, but when we have a National Assembly, that has become a rubber stamp. I was quite shocked when the Speaker of the National Assembly, Tajuddin Abbas, started crying out and saying that our debt profile is rising too much. For God's sake, that's been hypocritical. You've been the Speaker of the House of Assembly, you supervise, you saw this, you watched, exactly, House of Reps rather, you watched the debt profile rise to this level. So it's not as if all of a sudden you woke up one morning, you just woke up on Monday morning and you realize that no, our debt profile has gone, so high, our debt to GDP ratio has exceeded the limit, accepted by our own laws. It's not as if this did not happen overnight, Femi. They saw it happening. They supervised this process, so this degeneration.
As they say in Nigeria, let me burst your bubble, Daniel. There is an update to that. And it's the fact of, let me take you from the place of due process, because one of those institutions saddled the responsibility of vetting, whoever will be the chairman of INEC. And of course, all the regs is the National Assembly. And it seems Nigerians doesn't trust them that much.
That's the point.
Because of how they have been in cahoot with the executive. In fact, some have said they are just they are behaving like an extension of the executive. And that leaves much of a desired. And you can check, anybody can check, Nigerians can check, any democracy without a vibrant legislative arm is always, they will always have problems. Because, trust me, personally, my personal opinion, I think out of the arms of government, for me, the legislative arm is the most important.
Yeah, the most powerful, but they don't
because they
don't seem to know it.
Power to regulate, to make laws, to oversight.
To remove the president.
To remove, to question. They have that power. Anybody in any nation, including Nigeria. But it seems, that is not the case right now. Now, that on one side. So the appointment of INEC has to be a thorough thing, which, just like you said, many persons believe the president should not have any president. So don't let's say the president. Any president in place should not have the final say on who becomes, because that person is always the president at any point in time will always be an interested party. Either it's a second-time president, a first-time president, as much as a member of the party, and that party, is fielding candidates for elections. That granted. Now, talking about the Mr. Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, who spoke about the debt profile of Nigeria and the way it was reported was sounding alarming. Even just like you said, I saw it and it was looking like the demand just like a veil was removed.
Yeah,
and
as
it
if
was
just woke up from slumber.
Where are we? The debt to GDP ratio that's supposed to be around 47 or 48 is now
it's 52.
More than 50. 52 right now. So we have overshot the threshold, and this is just the second year of this, more than 2 years now, into the third year of this administration and all of those things. But I make bold to tell you that, I saw it was looking like, this is audacious. Is this man speaking truth to power? Okay, is he speaking based on his conscience? Or is he just saying whatever needs to be done, irrespective of where it belongs, as a ranking member of the ruling party or somebody in government? But this morning I woke up, then I saw an update to that. You can guess what the update is. And it's the fact that the Punch has reported that Mr. Speaker Abbas has backtracked and denied condemning Nigeria's borrowing. And of course, you could have the details. So, one language that came to my mind is in Nigerian parlance and on social media parlance, in Nigerian colloquial English, that you will not fold. When they say somebody fold, like you will not fold. Now, it's looking like the speaker has folded. And so,
we are making a mess of democracy in Nigeria.
Okay, so this is where it is. And it has been in a statement released, by, I think, his spokesperson. I'm trying to find that story. And he has clarified, they call it, the senior advisor on senior media, Joe Semieniton. The speaker said his words were misinterpreted. And he clarified that Tajuddin never called for a blanket condemnation of borrowing and support responsible public debt when properly overseen. And, part of what he said That is the contrary, the 11th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the West Africa Association of Public Account Communities, where Speaker Abbas was represented by Batunde Salam, made it clear that public debt, if managed properly, prudently, can be a tool for growth and prosperity. The legislative role is to ensure that every naira borrowed delivers tangible values to Nigerians, and that the president is already working assiduously. The moment I saw that in mention of the word president, president is working assiduously to reduce reliance on borrowing and all of these yada, yada, yada. The speaker's call was not against borrowing, but for stronger oversight, transparency, and accountability so that debt translates into redevelopment, roads, schools, hospitals, and innovation. Let it be known, oversight of public debt is a constitutional duty. Later, during that rebuttal, I'm trying to say, okay, so what exactly is the issue here? You have just stated what you think is okay. And on the other hand, you are trying to edit or clarify what you have said. You have said what you have said. This latest thing that you have said doesn't negate what you have said.
Anything, exactly.
So why are you making it to look like, oh, I'm not condemning what our government is doing?
He doesn't want to look as if he's standing against the president.
Against the president and the policies and the direction of the president to say, oh, we can borrow, but I'm not saying we should not borrow. Only that this, yada, yada.
No, we are not serious.
Here we are.
We are not. Because the president came out to say that, oh, we are no longer borrowing, no more local debt. And,
yeah, no more local borrowing.
And now, $1.7 billion, another one, request. So what
here
exactly are
so
we
it's
doing?
Uhuru that we are not borrow from Nigerian banks.
Yeah, but we
still can borrow. It's only outside. It's inside.
And by all indications, it seems this administration is determined to outdo Buhari. I mean, many times as far as borrowing is concerned.
Well,
that's their goal. The way we are going, the trajectory is just to make sure that we borrow so much that Buhari's borrowing will just look like child's play compared to what is going on. It's quite unfortunate.
So much to
the kind of democracy we are practicing here.
Honestly, and here we are. We take a quick break. When we return, we'll let you know what the front pages of different papers look like today. Stay with us. All right, starting from the Daily Trust newspaper, JAM panel, examination malpractice becoming normal. Take that again. JAM panel, examination malpractice becoming normal, with a rider uncovers 4,251 tech-driven cases. Tech-driven cases. And you see the pictures are some students, in those inserts in Abuja, in Sokoto, and in Benue. Now, patients in FCT seek alternatives as doctors begin strike. Man found dead inside car at National Assembly complex. What happened? Sad one there. My husband's death not accidental. Wife of slain NSCDC officer alleges. My husband's death not accidental. Wife of slain NSCDC officer alleges, and protest in Lagos over Awuronshoki demolition. Protest in Lagos over Awuronshoki demolition and low turnout as schools resume. Interesting, but then many schools will still resume next week. And yesterday, many papers had, the economic view to this resumption and how parents are groaning, especially getting the essentials for their words to resume with, because it's not just about the tuition, not just about the school fees.
So many other things.
It comes with so
if you add
many
all of
things.
them up, they might even exceed
the tuition. I can tell you for free. All right, summon El-Rufai Petitions Police Service Commission. El-Rufai Petitions Police Service Commission. And Speaker Abbas, Africa's debt at critical point. Africa's debt at critical point. And then Nigerians will be wondering, so what's the need for that reporter? You have said this, it's obvious. Why are you now clarifying what possibly is not necessary to be clarified? Okay.
Just to be in the good books.
He has been getting
No, he just wants to be in the good books of Mr. President.
All right, but then how about the good books of history?
Yeah.
And conscience?
For posterity's sake.
And Nigerian. All right, that will be all from Daily Trust.
From the Daily Trust, we move straight to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, proposed 5% tax on petroleum products. TUC threatens strike, describes policy as economic wickedness. TUC threatens strike, describes policy as economic wickedness, talking about the proposed 5% tax on petroleum products. Of course, how else can it be described if not economic wickedness, according to the Trade Union Congress? You might want to read up that story on page 11 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And on the top strip, strike threat. FG meets with Nupeng, NLC. Strike threat. Federal government meets with Nupeng, NLC. You'll find that story on page 3 with a rider. With a rider below it, TUC, Pengasan. I'm sorry for the interruption. TUC, Pengasan threatened to join strike. TUC, Pengasan threatened to join strike. Talking about the proposed 5% tax on petroleum products. And of course, there is also another angle to that one. Talking about the petroleum industry. Pengasan and some bodies have actually accused Dangote Refinery of trying to, implement some monopolistic tendencies. We'll look more into that in the course of the program this morning. Away from that, 2025 UTME, JAMB Committee uncovers 4,251 cases of finger blends, 190 cases of AI-assisted cheats. Now, this is interesting. We're in the era of AI now, so cheating has become, has gone another notch up, through the use of AI. 2025 UTME, JAMB Committee uncovers 4,251 cases of finger blends, 190 cases of AI-assisted cheats. With a rider, 1,878 candidates impersonate albino. And now this is strange. You can read all that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, talking about people devising new methods just to beat the system as far as cheating is concerned. And it's quite unfortunate because it's affecting our standard of education when the students no longer want to see that one read just because they know there are ways they can beat the system. They just want to cheat. You go to tutorial centers, you see them, they're not really serious. They don't really care about the knowledge that will be impacted by the teacher. I was having a conversation with someone some time ago. This is actually one of the problems we are having. When students just relax just because they know they can cheat. And unfortunately, Femi, most times they are not doing it alone. They are being sponsored many times by their parents, by their wards, who actually pay for those mercenaries to write exams for them. And it's quite